Good morning, Israel Briefers. And if you're joining me for the first time, I'm Rolene Marks. This is the Israel Brief, where we take a look at those headlines every Monday to Thursday. Now, normally it looks a little different, but I am on a 7-city speaking tour, courtesy of Canadian Hadassah Wheatso. And today is my last day of speaking engagements. I will fly from Toronto this morning to Ottawa, give an engagement there, and then train from Ottawa to Montreal for my final speaking engagement tonight. So thank you all for accompanying me on this journey, and then I'll fly out of Montreal tomorrow night for the final leg home to Israel. Just a reminder, there will be no Israel Brief on Thursday because of my traveling, and I know you guys love your question time and you love your mentions and your morons of the week, so store them up because we're going to tackle them all next week. So a reminder that today is day 711 since the 7th of October, and you might be wondering, where is my yellow ribbon that I wear? It's right here on my jacket, so I don't go anywhere without it until our 48 hostages are returned to us. So much like yesterday's brief, I'm going to keep it, like me, pretty short and make it a little bit more conversational. And we start with the big news, and that Israel has embarked on Operation Gideon's Chariots Part 2. This is what we are hoping is the last offensive push, the push into Gaza City. Now, President Trump yesterday expressing fears that Hamas may have moved the hostages from in the tunnel above ground to use as human shields, and he called on Hamas to release them immediately, calling it a human atrocity. He said Hamas must release all of those hostages or else. And we've certainly heard this kind of language from the US president before. Now, Israel is receiving a lot of condemnation for this final offensive. And, I always find it interesting that countries like the United Kingdom, whose new Foreign Secretary, Yvette Cooper, just lambasted Israel for this, I just find it very interesting they have forgotten their history and who they fought in the Second World War. And of course, these are all countries that are not threatened on their borders in any way or have civilians being held captive. While we are talking about this offensive, we of course have heard from the hostage families who are absolutely terrified for the fate of their loved ones being held captive by Hamas. The hostage families last night released a statement calling this a state of emergency and have actually set up encampments outside the Prime Minister's home. Yesterday, I brought you the story that the Royal Academy of Military Studies in the United Kingdom has banned Israelis from enrolling in the next year. And according to the UK Telegraph, the Secretary of Defense is facing an immense amount of pressure to reverse this ban. And I think not only is it a slap to your allies to ban them from studying, but especially now when military forces from around the world could learn how Israel is engaged in this particular kind of urban warfare. Israel's National Security Council have issued travel warnings for Israelis ahead of the high holy days. We are fast approaching the Jewish high holy days of Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, and Simchat Torah and Sukkot. These are very, very holy days in the Jewish calendar, the start of the Jewish New Year, the Day of Atonement, and warnings that there could be opportunistic attacks from terror-supporting individuals on Israeli locals. So don't worry, guys, I'm keeping an eagle eye out for my safety as I continue on my studies. And finally, and you really can't make this up, yesterday I told you about the morons in Hollywood at the Emmys, Hannah Einbinder, the hack from Hacks, and Javier Bardem, who has now decided that he will be a much better spokesperson or stenographer for Hamas. Maybe his career is failing, guys, who knows, but arriving decked out in his terror gear, not a good look, Javier, what is very interesting is that Hamas on their Al Quds TV yesterday thanked Hannah rather, Einbinder, who called Judaism a institution, an ancient institution that has no ties to the land. Boy, are you stupid, Hannah. But what was interesting was that Hamas thanked her, and they actually censored the image of her. They blurred out the shoulders, because of course you can't show your shoulders, you can't be dressed immodestly in their particular form of Islam. But Hannah love, when Hamas are thanking you, perhaps you are on the wrong side of history. You are not a good Jew versus bad Jew. You are not the moral arbiter. By screeching out Free Palestine, you've only caused divisions between your viewers. And it's interesting because I like to read people's responses to articles, etc. And many people are saying, we wish Hollywood stars would just shut up. Learn your lines, sing your songs, and shut the hell up. But what is very, very interesting, and I might have touched on it yesterday, but you guys will forgive me because I'm so jet lagged, is that I read an article in the UK Daily Mail interviewing insiders in Hollywood who are saying that people are terrified. Many stars feel that if they don't jump on this latest bandwagon, that there's some kind of modern day McCarthyism where they are singled out and they are blackballed from the community. So the next time you see a Hollywood star signing a petition, especially to boycott Israeli filmmakers, you might want to delve a little bit deeper into their record and of their positioning on the Middle East. I mean, thank God, guys, we have experts in Hollywood, models, etc., as our geopolitical counterpoints and not actual experts who live in the Middle East. And what I also find very important and very interesting is that Paramount Studios actually released a statement saying that these kind of boycotts are ridiculous and they are counterproductive to peace. So I hope people start to pay attention, but we can start to make our feelings known by deciding whether or not we actually want to go and watch the movies and view the TV shows of these virtue signaling morons. So guys, that's it from me for today. I'm going to head off to the airport in a few minutes. But much love to you all, and don't forget to check out our website at www.layoftheland.online. Our YouTube channel is right here at the Israel Brief. We're on Instagram at Rolene Marks. Where else am I? On Facebook at Lottle's site. And back next week, I will be back on Substack and back on LinkedIn. I forget for a second. So guys, I'm going to get some coffee. I desperately need it, and I will see you again tomorrow. Bye for now.